The other day I was sharing a lesson with one of my white belts, and it's a lesson that I'm sure you guys at home, like if you've been doing jiu-jitsu for more than like a week, it's been sort of like hammered down on you over and over and over again. But it's a white belt lesson that I really didn't pick up until I was a brown belt. So I'm gonna use my lovely assistant here, Mr. Adam Wilson, to illustrate with you guys. And it's gonna be from some bad spots, like side control and mount mainly. So there was a point years ago where I had a little bit of a knee injury, right? So my knee wasn't feeling too good, and what happened was I didn't have the ability to bridge and like do really good like strong drives. So when someone would get into side control, I didn't have the ability to really bridge into them to move to get to hip escape out. So I didn't want to be off the mat at the time. So what I figured I would do is I'm like, well, I want to be on the mat, but I can't bridge up very well. So I'll just kind of lay down and see how long I can like survive. I figured, I don't know why, it just sounded like a good challenge. I'll just sit there and see how long I can ball up and bring everything in, and see how long I can ball up and not let them submit me. So what would happen is when we would start rolling those days, I would basically start here with basic hands in tight, making frames, and I would just do this. And then my partner would try to submit me. Go ahead. And this is kind of the thing that would happen. So eventually, yeah, they would submit me, but I found out that the first lesson, again, two lessons here, but the first one was frames. Everybody talked about frames since I first started jiu-jitsu. Bring your hands together, like push away, things like that. But until that little week where I was forced to use them over and over again, the frames really didn't kick in. But when you think about it, your hands, right? If we're making basic frames, or anytime we're in a bad spot, whether it be mount or even back mount, or mount or side control, any of these positions, when our hands are together, later Justin, they're like buddies, right? So if they're together, they're really hard to separate or to submit. So if my arms are separated, it's very easy for Adam to take them off, boom, and pick them off. Or go back to side control here. Or for some of you guys that are newer, like white belts, you might be doing this thing that hug. You're separating your hands, right? You're not creating a frame, you're separating your arms. Very easy for Adam to then isolate that arm and then begin to attack it, okay? So by just bringing our hands in, it's really, really hard to submit. And by the end of this week or two that I was doing this, because it's been a while and I can't remember exactly how long I was doing this, but I think it's about a week or two. By the end of it, it was really hard for people to submit me. Now, the second sort of lesson that came into this was when I went back to rolling later on, what would happen is, we'll come back to it again, after I had my leg drive back and I had full use of my body, let's say that I got caught in a weird position here like this, where maybe my arms are separated. Before I started just trying to escape, I would always go back to the frames because I knew that I can survive here. Because by the end of it, they couldn't submit me here. So I was like, I know I can survive as long as I keep my hands together and I keep my neck clear. So then I had the time and I knew I had time to work, and that allowed me to be patient and wait for the right opportunity. Because a lot of times what happens is you'll see, especially early on, people will start to just push and shove in all kinds of weird spots with techniques they've never been shown, and they're not very patient. And the way that I sort of parallel this with is if we were inside guard. When we're inside guard, a lot of times we know that there's techniques, so we really focus on like isolating the arms, or we focus on getting cross-collar grips and trying to set up good techniques. But the way that a lot of times people approach their side control escapes or any of their escapes is basically they get here, and I'm gonna do my little shake here in a second, they start shoving around and like pushing and doing stuff like this, right? Like you've seen, I think everybody's seen like the new guy, right? Or someone within their first couple months doing jiu-jitsu, and they start pushing in weird spots. And so again, I didn't do that as a brown belt, but again, I could be better with my escapes. And so one of the things that made my escapes much better, my side control escapes and my mount escapes, was focusing on the frames, right? My hands are they're like buddies. They're hard to beat up if they're together, so bring everything together first. That's first things first. So no matter what, if my arms are separated, my first goal is to bring things together. And then following that is to be patient and really look for a good technical escape, not simply just shoving and trying to power out of it, but instead bringing everything in tight so I can get a good escape, good technical escape that'll work, whether the person's big, small, whatever. So frames and patience. I know those are really basic lessons, but again, there's a difference between knowing something in jiu-jitsu and there's a difference between it being learned, right? Knowing it, you guys can watch YouTube all you want to and you can know that a technique exists or know something exists, but to actually learn it means that it's wired, especially when we're talking about jiu-jitsu. If you learn a move, that's wired into your nervous system. You can use it under stress. You can use it when you have people really trying to go after you, and that's the difference. And so to me, that was really where I learned that idea, where it really sunk in, and I was able to use it effectively. And yeah, so guys, that's the lesson today. Hope that's helpful for you. especially all you white belts out there that are having trouble getting stuck in side control and mount. I got one challenge for all you guys. Here's what I want you to do. The next time you guys are in the gym, if you get caught in side control or mount, let's say one of those are your really bad positions, make your goal not even to escape. Just bring your hands together and just see how long you can just stay there and survive. You're gonna get submitted eventually, but see how long you can slow down the process. And a lot of times you'll find that you maybe have like 1, 2, 3, maybe even a whole round, as far as like 1 to 2, 3 minutes, but you might even have a whole round that you can survive. And that's gonna let you know that then when you actually get into a side control position, you don't need to be in a rush. So take the challenge up. Next time someone passes your guard, just see how long you can survive and then kind of go from there. And then now I'm finished. So, Adam. Thanks guys.